Right. So, hello everyone. My name is Faz, and welcome to WAST once again. So, I guess Faz gets Waz once more. I am here with a gentleman from Behemoth Games. Sorry,
It's
sorry,
just Behemoth. Yeah,
Behemoth. Sorry,
just
my
the
apologies.
Behemoth. Yeah,
So, just in
yeah,
case to get people a bit more acquainted
yeah.
with you, and I don't get names wrong,
Right,
can you introduce everyone your name and what your position is
right.
in Behemoth?
So my name is John Baez, and I'm one of the co-founders of the company. And prior to starting the Behemoth, I was an artist, but since I started the company with my other co-founders, I had to do the business development. So basically, I do marketing, business development, kind of long-term strategy, things like that.
How long has Behemoth been around at this point?
So this is our 20th year anniversary.
Wow! So
20
you've been in the industry for
years.
quite a
20
while.
years. Yeah, 20.
I'm
Two,
so,
2-0.
okay. So it's kind of
20.
weird because
Yeah.
by the looks of the game,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you're here to show off Alien Hominid.
So we have two. Yeah, we have
Yes.
two Alien Hominid games here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one is what are both games, just to make sure we are clear
Okay,
with
so
what
the
we're showing.
original, so we've got Alien Hominid HD, which
Okay.
is the original game that helped start the company 20 years ago, and it was released 18 years ago on PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and now we have kind of the follow-on story, Alien Hominid Invasion,
Okay.
and both of those games are going to be released later this year on Switch, PC, and Xbox One and Xbox Series X and some other X. Yeah.
all the consoles.
Yeah.
All the consoles.
Yeah.
So Alien Hominid, what is the difference? So were you a part of the development team when Alien Hominid,
Yeah.
the first one, first came?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what kind of inspired that game, first of all? Because obviously we're talking about 20 years in the past.
Yeah.
So
So
I might be casting your mind back quite a bit here.
no. The big inspiration for making Alien Hominid was unemployment. Right.
That's a good inspiration. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, Dan and I were laid off from our job when we were working for a console developer who did ports for Activision and Midway. And when we got laid off, it was like, well, why don't we make the game that you and Tom had put on Newgrounds the year prior, which was called Alien Hominid?
That explains why
Yeah.
the art style is so familiar now.
Yeah, it's got the Newgrounds connection. Right?
Okay.
And so we took it to Tom, and Tom said, well, why not? I mean, you can only fail, right?
That's true. That's true. So
You got a very narrow thing of success and probably failure, but why not?
hey, you're still here, which is
But we
actually
did not fail.
amazing
It was amazing.
to hear that our studio is still around after 20 years,
Yeah.
especially as a. Would you consider yourself more as an indie or a AA or AAA game at that point?
Oh, we're
'Cause
definitely not AA or AAA.
I
Yeah,
was making sure because it's
we're
like
pretty low in the alphabet.
Yeah,
we have lowbrow humor and
okay.
yeah. No, we self-publish, so we don't take any funding from publishers or we built up all of our own resources. So we consider ourselves an indie, but we don't. We're not in the garage indie scene anymore. That's kind of where we started, but we're fortunate enough to kind of have grown to the point that we don't want to compete with that kind of with those people because they're just so inspirational. You know, it's just the 1 and 2 man teams where we kind of came from. That's where real game development is happening, and so we're kind of in the mid ground between that.
So you like middle ground between
Super Garage Indies and AAA.
Like I say more like the upper end of the indie scene. So I'm thinking more like Way Forward and Chucklefish, who are a little more of renown, if that makes more sense.
Right.
So what's interesting about this is the Newgrounds history.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Newgrounds first started, I remember playing those games back in my school. Now I feel old, you know.
Right.
So how did you think of the idea? First of all, how did you come up with the idea of the game of Alien Hominid, the original? And how was development like from going from a Newgrounds title to a more ported console onto into a full on
console
game
title?
Yeah, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Console.
Yeah, so I think the difference now is that when we look back 20 years, we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
So Tom had, founded Newgrounds in the late '90s, and it's a repository for all this wonderful Flash content. And
Wait,
I
hang on.
was,
Let me hear
yeah,
that again. The other dude founded
Tom
Newgrounds?
Fulp founded Newgrounds. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
Tom Fulp founded Newgrounds. He started Newgrounds
Yeah.
out of his dorm room, basically,
yeah,
or bedroom even before he went to college.
yeah.
And he built some amazing technology that allowed. He was the first person to create technology that allowed a content creator to upload their work to a server
Mm.
to be viewed by other people without having a moderator in between. Because before, in the early '90s, everything had to be moderated because there was no other way for somebody to just upload something. And it's ubiquitous now. But back then, Tom was the first one to figure out all of that. I think he was 19 at the time. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And that was already after Newgrounds had started. It's just that he had such an influx of content that he didn't want to have to go through each piece by hand. So it's like, well, I'll give you the tools. I'll make you this tool, and you can upload it yourself. And then everybody can enjoy it. And then everybody can rate it. And then things will happen if everybody has access to it, and we can, rate the games and comment about the games. So yeah, it's an amazing leap forward with Newgrounds.
So when you took the idea from Newgrounds that 1 year before the Flash game,
Right.
what was the main problem that you had when you decided to turn it into a full-fledged game?
Well, we kind of affectionately call the Newgrounds version of Alien Hominid the prototype, because it's a Flash game and it's a 2D game, and taking it to the consoles was this huge challenge, because at the time, and remember this is like 2003, there was a feeling that consoles, so the PS2 in particular, as well as the Xbox, they were really about the 3D experience finally. So there was some impression that they wanted to get away from 2D. But eventually, as we got into production and we actually talked to Sony, and we found out that that wasn't true. They wanted just 2D games that looked really cool. And luckily, our game kind of fell into that. And so there wasn't a big problem getting approved for the PS2.
I would have assumed that content-wise would be the difference, right, as opposed to the problem of getting the game across, because the game's fun, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah.
and obviously, it's at that point in time where there's a huge zeitgeist of all the titles.
Right.
Especially as you've seen some of the older titles that were on Newgrounds make
Yeah.
a comeback.
Yeah.
The biggest one I can think of off the top of my head is N. I think it was called N. And you can see like they have like hundreds of levels now.
Right.
So how back in 2000 and if I remember correctly, it was 2003, 2004 from what you're describing. What was obviously Flash games were short.
Right.
So how did you improve on the content of that one?
Well, so the original game, which is just one level,
Yeah.
right, on Newgrounds, it's just one level. It's a mini boss and a main boss, and that's it. So when we went to the consoles, we had to build out an entire game. So we had to build the technology, because Flash doesn't run natively on consoles, obviously. And so we had to build the technology to do that, and then we had to build a game around it.
Yeah.
So the final game, I think, is 21 levels, and each level has a mini boss and a main boss, and you've got 3 main areas. You've got the urban area, the army, and then the Russian area. And so we had to basically build content for an entire game. And because everything was still retail, there was nothing downloadable, so it had to go on a disc. So we were on GameCube and PS2 and Xbox, and we had to build up enough content, basically build out the game of our dreams. And we were lucky enough to actually pull it off. It was pretty amazing when we think about it now. 3 platforms in 18 months.
Oh yeah. And you have to QA test it all as well, and it has to all be approved for the relevant consoles.
Yeah,
like
with
from
mini
UIs
games and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was crazy.
So, 20 years later, you brought back the game.
Yes.
What are the differences between the original and the HD? Is it all exactly the same, or has there been improvement? I would say, of course, there's improvements,
Right.
but what have you added to this version of the title that isn't
Right.
seen in the original?
So two things happened after the Behemoth finished its last title, Pit People.
Okay.
So Pit People came out in 2018, and then we realized that Alien Hominid had never been archived on Steam or PC. And we realized that eventually, once the Xbox 360 was completely deprecated, no one would be able to play it anymore. So we began to work on getting Alien Hominid HD, the absolute original version of the game, onto Steam. And we came up with a bunch of concepts for mini games and different things. And that grew into such a big mini game that it became its own title, which is Alien Hominid Invasion, which we also have here today.
Yeah.
So that allowed us to keep Alien Hominid HD as an absolutely complete archived version of the game that you would buy on a disc 20 years ago. So we've done nothing other than increase the resolution to 4K, so it looks beautiful on a big screen TV, and the sound's a lot better too.
That's true. Of course, sounds improved quite a lot. So you've kind of got
everything's
widescreen.
improved. So we haven't changed the gameplay at all. We've added nothing, and then so that's why we have a completely other title, which is Alien Hominid Invasion, which is now uses our current engine, which is more of a 2.5D engine from kind of the Castle Crushers age, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
It looks
not
like
a straight shooter where you're just going right. You can move up.
That's, I mean, Castle Crashers is like one of those zeitgeist iconic titles in that sort of period as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. You went from Newgrounds to effectively the very early age of indie. Because Xbox and Xbox 360 were like the very first, 360 and that era of consoles were like one of the first ones to have indie titles come in.
Right.
You're looking at games like Stop Burger vs. the World, and obviously Alien Hominid, and now you're in the HD. So before we end the interview, I think we should talk briefly about Invasion a bit more.
Right.
So what is could you describe the game about Invasion a bit more to us compared to Alien Hominid, the original?
So I think the important thing is that it gives closure to the story arc. Right?
Took 20 years.
Yeah, took 20 years.
20 years, we finally got there.
20-year narrative story arc done. That's good. So I think when we describe what Invasion is, it's the wealth of 20 years of gameplay experience kind of all piled in. Had we had all that experience, it's the game that we would have made 20 years ago, but we didn't. And so
hindsight is always 2020.
Years.
It's
exactly.
It just keeps going.
So it's much different. It's not a linear experience. It's a non-linear experience. It's more of a run and gun kind of through randomly assembled neighborhoods, but each neighborhood is designed and then they're connected together in a different way. So there's different gameplay every time that you play. And the loadouts are just amazing. You can completely customize your character however you want it. There's tons of mutations and variations, tons of different weapons. So it's a lot about personalization. And of course now, instead of being just one alien on Earth, it's online multiplayer. So you have 1 to 4 player, coach co-op, or online multiplayer. And it's just fun to see tons of aliens on screen now instead of
what's the maximum amount of aliens can you have on screen if it's on online
I don't know. If you play the game, I mean, it's only a 4-player online game. But if you watch the screen, it's just fun to just watch all the mayhem, all the explosions, and just a ton of other aliens helping you out, kind of clear out the agents and continue the story arc. So I'm not going to give you any spoilers.
Damn, I was hoping.
No.
I can't. Okay, I can only do so much digging here. All right. So where can people find this game, and when is the game already out?
It is not out yet. Neither game is out. They're going to release hopefully simultaneously later this year. We don't have a definitive release date because that's a little tricky with going through cert with all the titles. But as soon as we find out, we'll know, and you can tell all your fans. Yeah.
All right. So at the
But
moment,
yeah,
it's only,
before the end of the year.
yeah.
Absolutely.
What platforms? Do you know?
Yeah.
Is it just on Steam?
So no, it's Steam, Switch, and Xbox One and Xbox One or Xbox X S.
The Xbox Series is the game.
Yeah, Xbox Series. Yeah, thank you. Sorry,
assuming,
Microsoft.
is it not coming out on PS4, PS5?
It hasn't been announced yet.
Okay, okay. So we're still waiting
We're
on that
a small
one.
team.
No, that's understandable. Just for context, how many people are in the team?
Oh, so we're about 20.
20. That is pretty small. Yeah.
For doing that
To some
many
people, that'd be
titles.
quite big, but
Yeah.
it's actually really small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all depends on context. But doing that many titles, or that many different versions of the same title. So basically, we have 6 games coming out later this year. With the three platforms and 2 games. So a lot of work.
Yeah, over 20 people, I can understand. Yeah. So where can people find out more information about the game?
So they can always go to the behemoth.com, follow us on all the socials, or at whatever your favorite platform is. We're everywhere, just like everyone else.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, even though I've been cut off the screen for the better part of this video.
Oh, no.
It's fine. I only noticed that I'm over here all the time. But if you have any more questions, obviously you can send it to them on socials. Until then, stay safe and happy Faz Day, everyone.
Great.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and we do live stream a lot on Twitch. It would be super helpful if you do share the video. And as always, and remember, I hope you guys have a very wonderful and happy Faz Day. See you next video, everyone.